Hello folks, well we're back to the Danita Mk. I've spent an awful lot of time on the D'Amico convoy and that's been to Mr. Chippy and back, and we've still not got any joy having spent hours on that one. So take a break and do another swine of a set, which is this Danita Mk. So we've got like 100 milliwatts on transmit, as you can see from the clipboard here, and drawing 569 milliamps. And one of the problems was the circuit diagram that I got was rather like a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy and then scanned. I managed to find online somebody in Germany, and this is still not that legible, and it's very weak in the density, but it did enable me to look round at the circuit, which is the high-low power. Now the customer mentioned to me that he thought, well, it could be the switch. Well, I did take the front panel apart as much as you can, and you can't very easily, but I did, and it's nothing to do with the switch. That's the red herring. So the way it works is a feedback arrangement. You've got a diode here, and you've got high and low power presets. Just put the other glasses on. Can't even show you what I'm showing you. You've got two presets here in tandem, and they go respectively to the high-low power. Then of course you've got the other pole of the switch just doing the LEDs. That's nothing to do with it. So it works the opposite way. It doesn't provide power, it provides feedback from a rectified RF. Then it just comes back round and it comes to here, transistor 22. So this then provides power here and does the voltage regulation. So depending whether it's in high or low depends which presets it's going to be active on. And if I just key up, let's put picture in picture on, I now have it. It's taken a lot of doing, and there we are, 4.5 watts. So let's go on the other power setting, and it's a very low one, and again we can adjust that with the other preset, 400 milliwatts, just like that. So 400 milliwatts, other scale, just over 4 watts. We'll be able to do the tune-up now. So I discovered it was this transistor, and you know what I think's happened? Somewhere down the line somebody's had this at full whack beyond what's legal, and it's overloaded the feedback circuit and burnt out the transistor. So there you go. I think somebody's tried to get more than 4 watts out of the set, which is not designed to do. So a lot of and it's reading what that transistor was, and by getting this diagram, I only managed to get this yesterday. I thought we'll get back onto it, and there we go. Right, so we'd already done the receiver, it's the transmitter we're doing. Now the customer's also said to me he doesn't actually want it back. They pay me for the work that I've done to it, and kind of just keep it for spares. Well, I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to send it in back, because whilst he's paying anyway, he may as well have it back, and if he doesn't want it, of course, he can sell it. So it's something which is saleable because it's so unusual. So he's going to get back a lot more than what our service fee is for this, because it's only going to be the transistor. I mean, it's taken a lot of doing, and it's kind of not my fault I don't have the circuit diagram, because I didn't publish it in the instruction book. It's a poor show, isn't it? The whole thing's a poor show. And some people I've noticed on discussions, they think this is the same as the Midland Power Max. Well, it isn't. Right, so if we go through the transmitter, having done the receiver, I'll just have a quick look at what coils it is, because we can probably finish this off in 5 minutes. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll turn round and I'll switch on the other test set, ready for when we do the deviation. We're getting on the air test and get straight back to him tomorrow. This is the customer who owns the pt2, so it'd be nice for him to get that back as well. So, let's have a look at the transmitter. We've got 17, 18, whatever that is, 19, so where's that, 17? So exactly what you'd think, it goes through there. So we'll set it to full power. That was absolutely spot on. So was that. Mind you, I've tuned it in its low when it was working on tiny power. I think we're there. I don't know if that's done with the spectrum analyzer or not. I'm not going to disturb that. So it's doing 4.5 watts. And we'll drop that to, it'll go to about 5.5, and that's probably what has been its demise. So that's set at 4. So it's an unusual way to do it, because normally power regulators for doing low power, certainly on 2781 sets, which of course have low power, it's done with regulating either the pre-driver or the driver transistor, lowering the input voltage. Instead of getting 13.8 volts, it might get 9 volts, that gives less power, and that's how they do it. And in this case, it's a feedback. It reads what's there, and then changes the voltage regulation earlier at this stage, right down here. So it's a funny way of doing it. Can't say I've seen that before, but that's been the problem, getting that circuit diagram. Right, so we've got the high power. Let's go for low power, because the two are interactive, and once you've set one, the other's going to change. And it's a just wait while the radio compensates. 400 milliwatts. Go back to high power. 4 watts. So I've got that spot on. That's brilliant. Alright, deviation. I've never fiddled with this, so let's see whether I'm going to have to alter the settings, because we're normally on we're not normally on CPT. Wow, it's reading exactly 2.5, but that could be the test set not working right, because it does that, doesn't it? Should we check this on the other channels while my other test set warms up? So 4 watts. We're on channel 40. Sorry, we're on channel 20. Let's go to channel 1, and our power there is 4 watts. Go to channel 40. And we have 3.95. When cold, it'll be more than 4 anyway. So 4 watts, 3.95 watts. Low power we've set to 400 milliwatts. And we'll just check the current consumption on channel 20. 1.36. So it's an unusual set, and I realise it's a collectible set, even if it's on CPT. Who knows, there may be somebody out there who actually uses CPT. Right. Oh, I didn't like that, did I? Right. Deviation. Well, that's going to be deviation. So we'll set it on here. So it's on full whack at the moment. Right, let's see whether the other test set's warmed up sufficiently. That sounded like shaken and not stirred, didn't it? Managed to injure my leg. I've got hamstring, so it's really difficult getting out of a chair and getting back in it. I was kneeling on the bed to vacuum behind the curtains. Unbeknownst to me, there was a wasp's nest. So in a bid to get out of the way from some very angry wasps, I kind of overstretched my leg and hurt it. I spent a couple of hours in A&E at hospital having that checked, and there's my nasty wasp sting as well. So just to prove it, that was Wednesday, so it's now Friday. So there we go. I didn't cry. I will now. Right, we'll get plugged into the other test set if I can get out of my chair. Ooh. Wallow. Well, it says 2.2, so it agrees with the other test set. I'm going to come back in 10 minutes and we'll see, whether that's how it is. Get the set screwed together and Bob's your uncle. Okay, so it is 2.5 as a peak, so although it's set to full, at least it means that people can't be over deviating because it doesn't go beyond what would be acceptable. So initially when we looked at it was 2.2, so I agree, it's 2.2 with a peak of 2.5. Let's check it's on frequency, not drop half of our test things on the bench. We'll go to the frequency counter. So on channel 20 we should be 27205. It's 272049695. It's so close, but we'll just pop it on. If we can actually find an angle to get the trimming tool in it. Hear the needle banging across. So they are spot on frequency as well. So of course there was no power before, so I can't put the before down. I think what we can do is put the switch cover back. I think that's got swept on the floor, so that's going to take some finding. Right, well, RF meter. Looks like RB103 next to diode 201. It's going to be that one, isn't it? It is. There we go, right in the and wallow, 1, 2, 1, 2, testing on the other one. We've already done the S meter. So just as a courtesy, we'll just check it's still receiving. The 27205 on the signal generator. Right, we'll get the test equipment speaker plugged in. What did we have? Yeah, excellent receive. 100 microvolts is there. 100 microvolts is still there, so nothing's been upset. So all I've got to do is try and find that switch cover from the front. So that's now correct. Switches are working, potentiometers are working, sockets are working. We don't know about the speaker, so we're done. I'll pause the video and get it put back together. Right, so it's all put back together. It's on the aerial, and it's CPT, so it's full of racking. One on a Roger. Well, that's going to be pretty unusable, isn't it, when we do the on-the-air test? You never know, we might get 2 miles on that. That's the problem with CPT. It's so noisy with foreign interference, and there we go. And they're all burning brigade, aren't they? It's not like you could get back to any of them. So there we have it, the Danita Mk. We finally got there, and it's nice to have the original microphone as well. So we'll do an on-the-air test later on. So thank you for watching the Danita Mk from about 1987.